Hello and welcome to another video. So today I have the Auromie corner desk with the outlets. I already have the box opened up here, so you can go ahead and get started and make it. I'll show you the after assembly video soon, so that you can appreciate what it looks like before you watch the whole video. So this is what the desk looks like once finished. It has two USB ports and two regular wall outlets up top. And they're both pretty high capacity. Looks pretty nice, not the heaviest of the woods, but it's fairly cheap and fairly easy to put together and still looks fairly classy. Okay, so I have my things laid out here. Interestingly, this one bag has the letters B, C, and G, and then this one has D and E. So there's multiple types of screws all thrown in one bag, so then you have to sort them out, which is kind of frustrating, but let's see how it goes. So step one is getting the frames together. So essentially just putting the, I guess let's call them feet under the things. So this is the easiest of the steps, since I guess they made it step one, so you just kind of screw it on. So I'm gonna start them off with all screwed in together all the way. So then, if it's wobbly, you can always unscrew whatever leg is wobbling. So just screw these all the way in, and then you can always unscrew as needed. All right. Step two is getting frames. So this is frame 1, 2, and 3. So you gotta get frame 1 and frame 2. So this is frame 1, and we want to put the, let's see, I'm just looking for the screws. All right, so you want a screw side on this side, and then you need the frame 2 with the, let's see, you want to make sure that you're screwing it up properly right off the bat, otherwise you might have to fix that. So this frame is essentially symmetrical on both sides, so it doesn't matter which way it goes. So we're gonna do it this way. The wood pieces, and then you're gonna screw them here. So I'm gonna just line it up over here. 6, 9, and 7. So we have 6, or this is 9. This would go in the middle. This is, oh, here we go. It has a dash, another 9. So this is 9. This is 6. And then we have 7 on the bottom. Okay, so here's how this works. So actually this piece of wood will go on the back here with this 2 screws, okay? So kind of like this piece and this piece. So we can go back like this. So you want to make sure that these screw holes are in the back, and this is where wood number 6 will go. 9 will go like this over here, and then 7 will be on the bottom like this. All right, let me grab the right screws. So according to the manual, we need screw number B. So these are B. You're gonna look at the screws on the picture and make sure you're grabbing the right ones. So again, like I said, there's B, C, and G. There's 3 different screws in here. So I'm gonna match them and make sure I'm getting the right ones. And this looks like a B screw. So I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2, 12 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. And then you can use this tool to screw them in. I'm actually gonna use my electric screwdriver to do that. So I have my electric screwdriver here. So I'm gonna start with the bottom topmost board, because it just is gonna lay flat here, or as flat as I guess we can make it happen. You can always put like styrofoam or something under it to help you prop it up if you need it. I'm gonna prop it up just to start. So this seems awfully large, the screw to get in there, but I think it is the right one. Just gonna unscrew just to make sure. Hold on. So this hole is definitely big enough for this screw. To start, I just kind of screw it in by hand, and then you can use these tools to help you out. So it's actually kind of tight, so the electric part only helps for a bit, and then you just use your elbow grease and screw it in. But it does help using this thing because you get a better grip rather than using the tool they give you, which is pretty small and hard to sort of navigate using that. So I'm going to put this other screw in, second screw in, and screw it in by hand until I can't. And we'll use the electric screwdriver to help you out a little bit. Doing the other side now. So same thing, you want to line up the screws. I'm going to put both of them in together, so I'm not putting them in by an angle by mistake. So I'm just going to use the drill because it's kind of annoying how long it was taking by hand. But you still want to take your time and do it slowly so you don't like break the wood or anything. So I'm not going to screw it in all the way. I'm going to do the other one. Okay. There you go. So using a drill helps out a lot actually. I'll leave a link to the drill in the description or in the notification box above. But you know, you can use any drill. Okay, so this piece of wood, I'm not sure what side is to go on top and what's on the bottom, but it feels the same all around to me. I think you can kind of pick whichever side of the grain you like better. Okay, so once you have lined up with the holes, same thing as before. You're gonna line that up with the screw holes here. And I always recommend doing maybe 2 or all 4 holes before you start screwing them in, so that you make sure, so you're sure that they're lined up and all that stuff. It's kind of hard to figure out if you lined up, but you have to kind of look through the crevices and figure it out. So I'm gonna actually put in all 4 of the screws and then screw them in. That way I'm not misaligned. You can kind of use the metal's malleability to kind of prop it away from the board to kind of figure out where the hole is. All right, now that I have all 4 screwed, all 4 holes kind of preliminarily screwed in, I'll just go ahead and softly tighten a screw. I'll do the same on the bottom. Just do a little at a time. No need to hurry. I mean, you want to do it right so that you don't mess anything up, because these are particle boards and you don't want to break them. If you do break them, you can always measure this up and get yourself another board from Home Depot or Lowe's and cut it to the size and make it fit. It's not that big of a deal, but you're just increasing work for yourself. So for some reason I'm not able to get the screw in all the way. There we go. Same thing on the other side. So you want to make sure the screw is straight. There you go. So most of this is done. So there's the last piece of wood, and this has screw holes in the bottom. So you want to make sure that you're not screwing it in upside down. So I'm going to look at it on here, and as you can see on the instructions, the screw holes under the board. It actually writes it out for you. So we're going to put it in such that it remains under the board. And to get it under the board, there's only 2 ways you can do it. So if you look at the whole piece like this, right, you can do it. One way is where it's to your right, and the other way is where it's to your left. You want to do it to your right. Same concept as before. Line up the holes. All right. You always want to use a soft surface when you're assembling furniture, so you're not scratching up your hardwood or scratching up the furniture itself. And like I said, you always want to line up your screws. So as you can see, it's sitting at an angle from the weight of the frame. But before you start screwing in, you want to straighten it up with your drill. All right, so we have essentially the bulk of the desk built here. So this is one corner. Okay, so for the next step, you're going to use the remaining frame and this small board. So again, you can choose what's going to be outside. On the inside, doesn't really matter. But then you're going to screw it, put all 4 of the same screws we used before and screw it in place here. So I'm going to use my hand to do it. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and screw it in off the thing over here, and then I'll screw the whole thing over there. So that'll kind of make it easier for me. So while I have it on the ground here, I'm just gonna kind of preliminarily screw in the 2 screws here. That way I don't have to worry about it once I'm off the ground. As you can see, I'm doing it super slowly so that I don't bend anything that I'm not supposed to. I'm letting the screws work themselves into the wood rather than forcing it in. Alright, so I'm not going to screw it in all the way. I'm going to leave it a little loose. And then using the other 2 screws, without putting too much strain on this side of the board, I'm gonna go ahead and insert one of the screws and support it with the other side, like that. So now that you have the 1 screw over there supporting the whole thing, you're not straining the other side of the board. All right, so of course this side, I might not be able to use my drill, but that's okay. So now that I have the side up, I'm just going to go ahead and screw it in all the way here. over there. It's going to be tough because of the angle, so I'm just going to use my tool here to do it, the tool they gave me. Okay, screwing these screws is hard because I had to use my hand, but that's okay. We're gonna flip this thing over. So you wanna be careful flipping this thing over because this side is only supported with a board. So I'm gonna have to use some help to do it. All right, so next thing you need is 8 of these screws. So these are screw number C's, also 1/4 by 25, and 2 of these. So there's another piece of wood, number 8, that we're gonna actually put on here. So you wanna do this part after you have it flipped over. So as you can see, the screws parts under. So same thing here, you're gonna have this the bolt part on the underneath or on top because your desk is flipped over, and you're gonna screw them right there. So 2 screws on this side, and then there'll be the bracket, the metal brackets. That's letter 4 or number 4. Metal brackets here that will hold that piece together. So essentially kind of like this. The other wood would hold the rest of it, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to start with these brackets first, so that way I have something to support the other piece of wood. So this is just easy. It's metal on metal, so it should be easier than going into the wood. So you can kind of just hand screw it in as much as you can. And if you're wondering which side goes on top, it really doesn't matter, but the top where the screw head goes, you can see that there's a little divot in the hole. So that's how to figure out which side goes on top as far as this frame. Okay, so once you have this, now a little bit more of this maneuvering where you're holding things together while you're screwing it in. So we're gonna get this aligned here. So put these screws in. And then we're going to put these to the side and then kind of estimate where the holes are. All right. And the last screw here. There we go. So once we have them all together, we're gonna just slowly tighten them up. I'm not gonna use the drill because this is gonna be easy. Alright, so these are not tightened all the way, but pretty tight. Now we can screw these in. And again, every time you screw these screws in, you want to make sure you're holding them straight compared to the wood. Alright, and we'll do the same thing on this one. Hold it straight. There you go. Alright, I'm just gonna tighten these a little bit. Okay, time to flip it back over. So for the last step, you have this large tabletop with these guards on the edges, and that's just for transportation. I'm gonna leave them on for now. So as you can see, the screw holes, the metal screw holes on the bottom here, that's obviously gonna go on the bottom. And there's only one way you can put this on, so this is how it's gonna go. All right. So for this part, you will need to remove the guards once you have it on top. You do want to make sure you're using the right screws. So you want to use the screw number Ds. These are a little longer than the other ones of similar type. So you're going to grab these, and there's 8 of them, and go around the bottom and screw them all in. So you're going to have to go from the front of the desk to get to the bottom. So since these are already, there's already metal screw holes in there, it's easy to kind of get these in. Once it's lined up, it's just kind of super easy to tighten. Now I'm going to go back with my hand and tighten them more, but do as much of it as you can with either your electric screwdriver or your drill. So you can just kind of do it with your hand too. And there's 2 more over there. So this is the only screw so far where I notice it's going in at an angle, just because the frame doesn't quite line up. But I'm able to get it in regardless. And like I said, I'm just going to go back and tighten all the screws. So I've only done 6 so far, so I'm going to have to figure out where the other ones go. Because they said this step I'm going to use 8 of them. So all right, so once you have the 6 screws on the bottom, you have 2 more of these screws to attach the power, I guess let's call it a brick, to the desk. So I'm going to just put the wire through. There's 2 tiny little screws, and you will need a standard Phillips head screwdriver to screw these screws in, and they're tiny. And as you can see, they're like this matte finish that matches the rest of the plastic here, so it kind of looks nice. So we do have 2 USB ports here that should be able to charge pretty quickly. It's 2100 milliamps and 5.1 volts, and there's 1500 watt max capacity AC outlets here. So it's pretty high capacity outlets here, but that's it for this desk. You do get some extra screws and stuff to make sure that even if you lose or bend one of the screws, you can finish the task. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.